Today, I'm going to be unboxing the Canon 50mm 1.8. Then I'm going to be putting this on the Canon R6 Mark II and the Canon R7 so we can compare it with a full frame and a crop sensor. How does this bad boy look? But better yet, how much is this? It's $99 with a coupon code at B&H. You should just buy a couple of them, break them and buy them. Hi, I'm Jared Hoyman and welcome back to the channel where we talk about camera, videos, and tech. This is an exciting one for me today, and funny enough, it's like the cheapest lens I've ever bought in my entire life. The Canon 50mm 1.8. I used to have the EF version when I had the Canon R6. No, not the R6. The 6D. DSLR. Holy cow. I can't even remember the name of the old lovers that I used to have. The old T2i, she was great. The 6D, yeah, she was nice too. She let me touch her buttons. But guess what? We're gonna be putting this on the R6 Mark II and the R7. Those are my two lovers. Yes. Is it weird that I talk about cameras as lovers? Probably. Maybe I should stop. So we're going to I'm going to unbox this. I'm going to give you my first impressions. Then we're going to go out and I'm going to do a few tests with the tracking on this. But spoiler alert, I did do that part of the video already. And I do want to let you know that there's something that you should be aware of. And that is when I do the test with the Canon R6 Mark II, I do have the setting on there activated where when I leave the frame, the autofocus just stays where it left off. And when I come on, then it finds the subject and starts tracking it. So you will not see it try to hunt or look, which is a fantastic feature of the R6 Mark II. The R7, on the other hand, I did not have that feature on there. I'm not sure if that feature even exists on the R7. So you will see the R7 hunt when I do leave. It'll go back to the background for focus and then come back on me. But the cool thing about that R6 Mark II is that you can have it just stop at that focal length. You leave, come back, and it'll be right on you as well. So that was something I did not plan, but you can at least see how the R6 Mark II operates with that. So after we do the unboxing, we're gonna go out and do those tests with the R7 and the R6 Mark II, and then I'm gonna come back in here and give you my final thoughts and also show you the link below where you could purchase this bad boy for $99. Totally worth it. I will tell you already, but let's check out the sharpness of this. Just know that it's never too late to get a RF 50mm 1.8 because this is honestly a very inexpensive lens. This is usually about $160, $170, but B&H had a sale where it was actually down to $99 and I thought, oh man, I can't give that up. I have to buy it. I have not owned a 50mm in quite some time because I have the 24-70, and the 24-70 obviously hits that 50 at 2.8. It is super sharp, so I'm very curious how that compares to the 1.8, and comparing it at 1.8 to 2.8, how much of a difference? How sharp is this compared to how sharp it is at 2.8 when comparing to the 24-70 at 50mm 2.8. So let's unbox this dude. All right, and just like every other Canon product, there it is where you can just register it. We have the little instructions. If you don't know how to use a lens for Canon, then you should probably not be in photography. All right, so let's unbox this, and it is super small. That's it. It's this little thing right here. So let's get rid of that, unwrap it, throw that over there. Let's clean it up a little bit. There we go. This is how I clean my office. And here we go. So first impressions. This is my first non-L series native RF piece of glass. I've not bought the 35 or the 85 because I am all about buy nice or buy twice. So you might as well buy really nice. This one though, for the price, I can't say it's not bad. So my understanding is this could be used for focus, and I believe it can be used for a function as well, the ring right there. It does have a metal mount, which is really nice because I believe the old EF version did not. I believe that was just plastic. By the way, if you are new to the RF mount and putting on these back rear lens caps, they can sometimes be a pain, but just know that you just have to line this little groove, this line with the red dot there, and it's really easy. So the old ones, you could just find a spot and then it start twisting. Here you actually have to, there, and now it's good. So this is the front element, pretty small. Whoops. This is probably, this is the tiniest little front lens cap I've ever seen. It's like a little kid right there. It's a little tiny little kid one. And then here is the front element. And so back element there and the front. And so this is actually super nice. Let's go put it on the camera. So here's my 15 to 35, which is pretty much the same size as the 24 to 70. And then here is the 50 millimeter. And as you can see, well, there's a huge difference and a big weight difference too. Yeah, this is gonna look a lot different. Wow, it's just a little stubby dude that is small, but I could walk around with this. All right, so this first test is with the Canon R6 Mark II full frame, 24 frames per second, and because I'm at 1.8, it's very hard for me to actually stick to that 180 degree rule. I can't even speak out here. So I believe it's at 1/100th. I'm a little far away because, well, it's a 50 millimeter. Let's just see how it tracks. It is a little bit noisy. If you had a microphone right on there, it's gonna sound like R2-D2 or really annoying like C3PO. No, that was the old version, very loud. It was a C3PO version. This one is more like an R2-D2. It's kind of got a, you know what I mean. You're nerds, right? Like me. So this is what the tracking on a 50 millimeter looks like. The 1.8. Excuse me looking into the LCD screen. I'm just kind of seeing if it is tracking me. What does that 1.8 bokeh look like back here? This is a lot sharper than the EF version was. I have noticed that. So if you can get a deal like I did for $99, that is pretty amazing. I love it. I will throw $99 at any RF native lens, especially if it's made by Canon. Again, this has a metal mount. The original, I believe, was just plastic. And so this is what it kind of looks like here. I'm gonna leave the frame. This is a testament to the R6 Mark II, but also to this lens. So we'll see what it focuses on, and then I'm gonna come back into frame and we'll see how it catches me and what that looks like. I am gonna walk around and show you what the IBIS looks like. I can't vlog with 50 millimeters, let alone on the R6 Mark II. I'm not gonna do it on the R7, which is gonna crop in 1/1.6. And that's gonna be like an 85 millimeter equivalent on the R7. So that's what this looks like. Let me know in the comments below, how does this look for a $99 lens when on sale, or about $160, which is still really inexpensive. Let me know your thoughts. So let's walk around with this. 1.8 f-stop is definitely super shallow and everything should be blown out back there. The bokeh looks really nice on such an inexpensive lens. Yes, I am vlogging right now on the R6 Mark II. When we move in just a moment onto the R7, that's gonna be like an 85 millimeter equivalent. I am not vlogging. The fact that I'm vlogging on this, I could do it on a 24 or a 35. I bet you I could pull that off. If I could pull this off and get my head in the frame at least, you know that I'm getting a 35 and 24 on this. That might be another test for another time. So this does give a lot of details. How close can it focus? About there, yeah. I'd say I'm about 2 feet away. So it's actually not bad. This is, as far as my long arm goes,
So let's walk around. This is, the IBIS is on, so this is in-body stabilization with the R6 Mark II. So this is kind of a test to the R6 Mark II's in-body stabilization working with the 50mm. Here I have it focused on the swing right there, so it's an object further away. And then we'll focus it on that dog turd right there. Enjoy the dog turd. I will tell you that this is probably the lightest setup I've ever had with the R6 Mark II vlogging. This lens is so small and light, and although it's plasticky, it does have that metal mount on the back of it, so you know it's pretty good. Not weather sealed, so it doesn't have that rubber gasket, so if it rains, you don't really want to be outside with it. But most of us aren't shooting in the rain. I'm very curious of what the 16mm would be on here, the 2.8, because if this is so light with the 50, that 16 would make an awesome vlogging lens. Not sure how sharp it is. I use the 15 to 35, and that is a sharp, awesome lens. Let's move on to the R7 and see what that looks like. Okay, this is the R7, so I obviously have to be a little bit further back. So the R7 again is going to be more like a crop of an 85mm. It's going to be zoomed in a lot more. Could be good for some portraitures. So this might be a good one for the thinker. So how close can I get with this? That's pretty darn close. So I'm that 2 feet distance right now on the R7 and that 1.6 crop. This is how close I am. That bokeh is just blown out, which is really nice. So 1.8, it is getting a little bit darker, so I actually do have this at 1/50th instead of that 1/100th that I had on the R6 Mark II. And so I'm trying to get it pretty even. I'm not using C-Log, I'm using standard. I wanted these to be more equivalent with image quality. And again, this will show the focus on the R7 as well. And so obviously the further you get away from the camera, from the lens, the bokeh is not as prevalent, but at 1.8 with the zoom like this, that's again equivalent to an 85mm, you know, the bokeh is probably going to be pretty decent still on there, which is nice. So is this something that you'd be using on your R7 on a crop sensor? You can also use this on the R10. Yeah, and the R10 is cheap, and so is this lens. There really isn't an excuse for anybody not to get into photography nowadays. When you can pick up something like the R10, pick this up for $99, or when it's not on sale for about $160. And then if you want to go a little bit higher end, the 35mm, I believe is around $300, $400, somewhere in there. $250, I believe, for the 16mm. So, not bad. Not bad starter here when it comes to the RF mount. It used to be hard to get anything of good quality, and I'm hoping that we are going to actually have some good Tamron lenses coming out for the RF mount in Sigma, because that will change everything, especially if they make a native RF mount version of the Sigma 18 to 35 1.8. I would buy that immediately for my R7, and even for the R6 if I'm going to do crop mode. So I'm going to walk out a frame. We're going to see what happens. Again, a lot of this has to do with the camera, the R7. And so I'm out of frame, and now I'm going to start walking into frame, see how this catches me. Does it hunt a little bit? And we'll see how the tracking is. I got to kind of kneel in here. But yeah, bokeh. How does it look? That's right, you cannot vlog on this with the R7. Too zoomed in, but this is what it looks like. Get some light on my face there. But I mean, that close-up is pretty good. It's still in focus at 2 feet. My arm's length, you can't tell how far that is, but yeah, I have long arms, but yeah. So that's how close it is. Not quite macro, but pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna focus on that swing, if I can, and walk around it. And that is what it looks like with IBIS on. That's just one arm holding it, handheld. I'm kind of walking around it. It kind of looks like I'm swinging. I'm going to do two hands and walk a little bit slower. So if you're doing something really slow it's not bad. This would actually make some cool videos for your kids, or something you just wanted to get really quick for some bee footage. My kid's little playhouse in the back. And you get a nice little kind of cinematic look with this lens at 1.8.
So part of my arsenal is the 24-70 RF 2.8. That is an L series glass. And then the 15-35, which pretty much just lives on top of my R6 Mark II all the time because I'm an architectural photographer. And then I do have the Tamron 2.8 G2 70-200, and that is a fantastically sharp, ginormous, heavy lens that I don't use all the time, but when I do use it, I am super impressed by it. So for the longest time, I've been wanting a 50mm lens. I've always loved that look, and with the R7, you can now get that 85mm kind of look off of it as well. So it's kind of twofold, but I'm not gonna pay over $2,000 for the RF 1.2. I just don't shoot that enough. And I wasn't sure if I really wanted to spend $700 to $800 on the Sigma Art and then use that adapter and have a heavy lens on there. After using this 1.8 RF and how light it is, this lens has scratched that itch of me wanting a higher end 50mm, and I really don't need anything that sharp compared to what this already offers. For $99, I cannot justify the $500-600 mark, and I cannot definitely justify that $2,000 mark. For what I use it for, it is amazing, and how it performs is good, especially when you compare this against the EF version, which I used to have, and I wasn't that impressed by it. You have the metal mount and no weather sealing, but it's still a good quality lens, and it's super light. And again, for $99, or the full price, I believe is about $160, $170, if you were to break it, you just get another. Just keep printing that money. That's what I used to think as a kid, that I could just go on my parents' printer, print money. That's illegal, by the way. You can't do that. Don't even think about it. If you like this type of review, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments or experiences with this lens or any other lens on the RF mounts, let me know. I'd love to hear your comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, well, tell me which ones. Which lenses are you interested in? There's a ton that I am interested in. I gotta finish those sentences. I kind of delay. It's my ADD. I'm thinking about a million different things at the same. Man, it is sad to see you guys go, but you really don't have to, because there's these videos over here. You can check those out, watch some, be entertained, and I'll see you in the next one.